Welcome back to another episode of RNT Fitness Radio, and today I'm joined by one of the members of the RNT family, Minal Patel, who's achieved an incredible transformation as a mother of two in her 40s, juggling a busy work, family and social life. I really enjoyed talking to Minal here and hearing her incredible insights on creating generational health and her ways of inspiring her growing children to be more aware of their health and lifestyle. This segment alone will be a game changer for any of you parents listening in here. We also talk about her struggles before her RNT journey and how through a focus of strength, muscle building and further evolving goals, she's managed to break out of the dieting cycle to get into the shape of her life for life. I really hope you enjoy this one. How's your day been? Well, it's still the morning, but how's the week been then?
It's been good. Working, kids, pretty usual actually.
Yeah. What is your typical kind of working week?
Working week varies. I could be working sort of 2 to 3 days, and so if I'm working, then I'll sort of gym in the morning, go to work, and then pick up the kids from school and cook dinner and sort them out. Yeah. And if I'm not working, then it tends to be sort of drop the kids off, go to the gym, and then start my day with whatever house sort of food shopping and.
Yes, you get a decent balance between the two.
Yeah. Husband works pretty long hours, so I can't rely on him to do any of the sort of house and school runs and things. So I have to cover everything at home.
Got it.
Yeah.
And I've been watching your progress recently, and I noticed you've been through quite a number of different phases. And the most recent one is the marathon training, which is something I'm doing on a much smaller scale than you are. But how's all that going? How's the marathon training going?
Well, if you ask me week to week how it's going, it varies. A couple of weeks ago, I was probably like, why didn't someone knock me out with a kettlebell? Like, whose big idea was this? You know, because I guess it just depends on how your long run goes. This week I did, last Saturday I did 20 miles and I came back and I just felt like I completely smashed it, to the point that I thought it was a great idea to try and run Brighton Marathon, which is 2 weeks before, as part of the training run.
Oh, okay.
Because you're feeling great. So I just felt really good. So I thought, okay, well, I'm meant to be doing a Cranley 21 run, which is a 21-mile run as a training run before London on the 31st of March. But I thought, I'll just ditch that and I might as well just go for the whole hog and do Brighton before. But
wow.
But I soon come to my senses after sort of you've sat down for a bit. And, yeah.
20 miles, like how long is that taking you?
3 hours, 20 minutes.
That's the 20 miles or the full marathon?
No, 3 hours, 20 minutes was what I ran on Saturday.
Okay.
I have done Brighton before and I did that in 4 hours, 14.
Okay.
So I did think I'd like to do London faster, but I've been told that it's really, really busy and it depends where you are in your pen and how quickly you get out.
Got it.
And how, how you can break, how quickly you can break away from the crowds as to whether, apparently it's not a PB route. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to PB on that route, but apparently the atmosphere is supposed to be absolutely amazing. So I've been told just to enjoy it and take in all the, everything that's going on, because it's supposed to be loads of bands and music and entertainment along the way. And so to just enjoy the whole experience.
For the actual day, I can imagine the atmosphere keeping you motivated and keeping you going and excited. How do you keep yourself excited during a 20-mile run on your own around the streets? Or do you go on the streets or a treadmill?
No. I couldn't run on a treadmill for 20 miles.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I just get bored. I have been listening to your podcasts to keep me going.
Okay.
So I just sort of line up various things to listen to. I haven't been listening to music because I'm saving the music for the actual day. because I got told that if you listen to the same tracks again and again on the day, the boredom factor hits in, or there's nothing new.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I've been sort of listening to sort of podcasts or books and things to keep me going. And then I do a route where I can break it down so that so on Saturday I did a three loops of a 6 mile route, and then I just kind of broke it down into segments. So I kind of did one segment, and I think, okay, that's halfway out, and then the next half of the segment is like your return of that one loop, and then you just go round, and you can just break the 20 miles down without thinking that, oh, I've got 20 miles to run.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. I mean, I'm doing the half marathon on the 14th of April.
Okay, how's that going?
Yeah, so this is way out of my comfort zone, and I'm finding it pretty tough with the prep. And I'm only doing one long run a week, but since it's been over 4 or 5 miles,
yes,
I found the mental game to be really tough, because after 5 miles, my mind's just wandering, and it's almost like my legs are just moving, and I'm waiting for the end destination to come. I can't even fathom doing 20. But which is why I asked you, like, what are you doing in your head? And it probably makes sense to listen to something like a book or a podcast, because that's progressive, and you can just kind of lose yourself in there.
Yeah. I mean, because I did 3 loops, obviously I've got to work on my pacing. So the first loop, I just did it like really comfortable, steady, and just focused on that. And then the second loop, I did a little bit faster. And then the third loop, I try and go all out, like really put my foot down. And that's supposed to help with your pacing through the marathon. It's you're not meant to go all out at the beginning. You're meant to sort of take it easy for the first up to mile 18, and then after mile 18, you're supposed to put your foot down.
Okay. So maybe
that's how.
Yeah.
So if you start off too fast, then you'll burn out. So the idea is just to sort of go a comfortable pace, and then sort of after halfway, put your foot down.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm going wrong. I think I'm going too fast in the first 3-4 miles, and then the second 4 miles, I'm up to 8 miles at the moment. The second 4 miles are so difficult. And my legs are just slowly moving. They're just like lead. But I can just keep going, but I don't feel like I'm moving very fast. So I need to change my strategy there.
Yeah, so start off slower, and then on your second half, that's when you sort of try and speed up. And then I think nutrition. I mean, I can do a half marathon on breakfast. If anything above an hour, or sort of like after an hour and a half, I then have to refuel. So I guess maybe a nutrition or something.
So what are you doing with the 20 miles? Are you having things during the run?
Yeah. So I wake up and I have a bowl of Rice Krispies or Cocoa Pops in chai, because that seems to sit in my stomach. That sits in my stomach quite well. It doesn't seem to cause an upset stomach, because when you start running longer distances, I find that it can sort of set your stomach off, and you end up with tummy ache, or what they call runner's poo.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And then the best thing I've found is an isotonic drink and jelly babies.
So you're just munching on jelly babies as you're going through the race?
So after about an hour and a half, I have a couple of jelly babies, and then just keep drip feeding the jelly babies in as you need, but before you hit a wall.
Yeah.
So before you sort of start dipping, you eat a couple of jelly babies.
Okay.
And I found the jelly babies better than, say, gels and things like that, because different gels, you just have to find what works for you. I find the gels are really gloopy, and they sort of hard to swallow, and they kind of stick in your mouth. And so I find the jelly babies just easier to eat.
Okay, interesting. I think that's what I've been hitting. I've been hitting the wall, just a little bit earlier than probably you hit it. But I think after 6 miles, I think I'm hitting the wall, and that's probably around the hour mark. So I'm not going at any crazy pace, but I think it's after the hour mark that it just feels like a real drag, and it can only be that maybe I just need to have, I'm doing it on breakfast only. So maybe I need to have maybe another meal or just make that breakfast more significant.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried various things. I tried protein pancakes. The protein pancakes made me feel really heavy. And, you know, like every step I was trying to take, I just felt like lead weight. I've tried oats, but I find oats, because it's quite high fiber, on a longer run, it sort of upsets it. Sort of, it's not great in that way. And the Rice Krispies just seem to sort of fill a hole and sit well. I always make sure my meal the night before is, I've had a decent meal the night before. So I, you know, make sure sort of sweet potato or some chicken.
Yeah. What is your nutrition like at the moment? Are you eating a lot more calories?
I'm on 2,200 calories. I don't know what to do with myself. It's absolutely shocking. It's like, oh my God, I can eat so much food. And when you're eating sort of chicken and vegetables and, you know, like good carbohydrates, like a sweet potato or some rice, it's quite a lot of volume.
Yeah.
And sometimes to fill it, I'm sort of thinking, oh my God, I've got to eat this slightly for the sake of eating it.
Yeah, it's a good place to be if you're maintaining the body weight as well.
So I don't know. My body weight's gone up a little bit, but the clothes are still fitting me the same. So I'm hoping I'm not turning into what I keep saying to Nathan is the Teletubby. I keep sort of worried. You know, like I guess when you've been on the diet phase for so long and then you're allowed all this food, you naturally think, I naturally feel slightly scared that I'm going to pile it all back on. Yeah. And so I've noticed that when I have eaten well, I can really push the weights.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how's your training been? Not only since you started training for the marathon, but also since you're now fueling your body with so much food.
So I've been doing my full weight sessions, and that's, I mean, building muscle has been I've kept it as my priority, so I don't want to lose that. And then I'm just doing the marathon training as a sideline, because that came up afterwards. So I guess if I wasn't running, I guess my weight training would be going a little bit faster. But I've managed, I mean, I'm still making progress on the weights. I'm still managing to sort of up the weights or the reps each week. Because I guess the food's allowing me to do so.
What are some of your best lifts at the moment?
Sorry?
What are some of the best lifts at the moment that you're doing?
Monday I did walking lunges with 20 kilos in each hand.
Wow. Okay.
Leg presses, I did get up to 190 kilos. I just need to improve my technique because I can't reach the handles on the machine. So I had a habit of putting them on my knees. So Nathan said, I got told to put them behind my head.
Yeah.
And so I've had to drop the weight of that a little bit to allow me to sort of get into the habit of not putting hands on my knees, and I can still do my pull-ups. I'm still sort of trying. Yeah, I'm still trying to do my pull-ups with a 5 kilo weight. I haven't progressed with that, but then also I've put on a bit of body weight, so I'm kind of thinking that's compensated for it as well.
How are you finding the different? This is a completely new phase for you because of your journey so far, which we'll come on to soon. But how are you finding managing the increases in body weight from the natural progression of a muscle building phase that does require that increase in body weight in order to build muscle and to build strength? How are you dealing with that mentally?
That's been pretty scary because, like, you know, I've spent so long trying to lose the weight, and so psychologically you sort of think, oh, I'm going to put on some weight, and you don't want to put on the weight. You want to stay lean, or as lean as you can be. But, you know, I think you just have to sort of accept it that you're going to put on some weight and lose a bit of definition or look a bit fluffy to get, you know, for the end goal. So you just sort of, every now and again, I have a paddy and think, oh my God, look at me, I'm looking a little bit big, or, you know, where's all my definition gone? Or, and then I think, well, no, just think, you know, just focus on the end goal. Focus on what you're trying to achieve, like build more muscle. So this is part of the journey that you have to take to get there.
Why is muscle building so appealing to you, and why strength and muscles so much of a goal for you now? What's changed that's triggered that?
I think you just move your boundary, your goalposts. I mean, you know, I've always gymmed. I've always gone to the gym, and then you sort of, I had a PT session, and I realised that I wasn't really, you know, gymming. You know, I wasn't really sort of, because the PT session was like, oh my God, I felt dead. And so then from there, you just progress, and you end up doing a little bit more, and then you see the progress you've made, and you think, okay, I want to do a little bit more. You know, achieved more. So I dieted down, got lean, and I think, well, actually, now I want to, you know, build some more muscle and get leaner and fitter and stronger, and be able to lift more weights. So I think that's, you always want to progress.
So seeing it almost like a journey where there's always more to go towards. And I think it's an important mindset to have, especially for women, because not many women have that mindset. They get fixated into a dieting cycle where it's always a diet. So what advice would you give to women who are stuck in that dieting cycle, and they should probably see the benefits that a real progressive strength building phase can have on you, both mentally and physically?
So, I mean, when you diet down, you get down to the diet, and you sort of think, okay, well, now what? And you don't want to let it go, because otherwise you just pile the weight back on. So the only natural way, I think, is to progress and sort of just get stronger. Get stronger within yourself, and push forward. Because when you've made the journey, the journey to lose all the weight or get lean and fitter, the last thing you want to do is throw it all away and then just go back, because that's that vicious circle. You put the weight back on, and then you try and lose it again, and then you put it back on and you lose it again. So I think it's, you know, you've got to then put another goal in place so that you can progress and not get back into that vicious circle of dieting.
Before we go into your journey of the cycle that you're describing, do you want to tell the listeners and introduce yourself as to who Minal Patel is?
Okay, so name's Minal, mum of two, wife. I work and look after kids, run a house.
Do you want to tell the listeners more about? Let's talk about more about your journey and where you've come from, because now you're in your 40s now, and you said you've been in a dieting cycle for a long time, and you've tried to diet and get into shape for a long time. So take us right back to the beginning and how you've got to where you are now.
Okay, so I've never been sort of a slim person. I've always been sort of the bigger sibling, and I've always struggled with my weight. I would diet, and then somehow I'd put it, you let go of it, and so you put it back on, and then you diet again and you put it back on. So this is the first time I've ever managed to keep it off. So it's the first time I've ever managed to keep the weight off. And the only way I've done that is because every time I've finished a diet phase, I've then tried to think, okay, well, I'm going to try and achieve something else, whatever that might be.
And in what sense, what have you done differently this time in terms of achieving something else? Because you mentioned earlier that this time you talked about building muscle. What did you do last time?
What do you mean? In what way?
You said that the biggest struggle with regards to keeping the weight off was that you always shifted focus once you got there. What was it? What were you trying to go towards back then?
I guess back then, you just get complacent. You would let, sort of, because you thought you'd done it. You don't realize that it's a lifestyle change. So I had to make lifestyle changes, and so that I didn't fall back into putting weight on. and still keep active. Like, so once you've lost all the weight, that's not, you have to maintain it. And if you don't maintain it and carry on eating well, then the weight will go back on, especially when you're sort of that way genetically built. It's not very difficult for me to put weight back on.
Yeah, the lifestyle change really is critical, and it's why we harp on about that consolidation phase after a dieting period so much, because it's the time where you kind of instill the habits and make sure that all the gains that you've made so far are the long term and not just kind of fleeting in a flash in the pan.
Yeah. So, I mean, so I guess now that I've lost all, I dieted down, then you sort of have to think to yourself, okay, so what are you going to do next? Because you don't want to go back to the old person. You want to sort of progress forward. And so hence you think, okay, well, I can't diet forever because that's not good for you either. You can't maintain it.
No.
So then you have to sort of then think, okay, well, you want to get stronger and then leaner. So I guess then you just restart the cycle again, but more in a controlled manner, not sort of. So now that I'm not in a diet phase, it doesn't mean that I go back to eating, crisps and donuts and things, things that aren't, you're more mindful that although you need to eat more calories and eat more food, you're eating mindfully and you're eating good, making better choices so that you don't put on weight, like fat weight. You're using your food to build muscle and get stronger.
That's a really.
It gets slightly addictive as well, because then you sort of think, okay, because you start seeing progress of how you're managing to lift better and get stronger. It's a real feel-good factor.
That's a really good point about mindful eating when you're coming out of a deficit, because it's so easy to start thinking, I can eat flexibly now, or I can eat lots of calories, and this means donuts and crisps. But those are typically trigger foods, which will lead you to completely blowing your calories. And I think one of the best things you can do when you're coming out of a dieting phase and making that shift into a lifestyle is keeping the structure that got you there.
Yeah. So, I mean, like when I was on my diet phase, my breakfast was 10 egg whites with some veg and like 125 grams of chicken and veg for lunch, and then the same for dinner. So my breakfast tends to stay the same, where I won't just have egg whites, I'll have an actual egg. Because obviously I need the higher fats and things. So I just adapt it a little bit, but try and keep the structure the same. The only thing I've introduced is the Rice Krispies or the Cocoa Pops, just because for the running, it just seems to sit better than oats. I find if I have oats, then it sort of upsets the stomach.
Yeah, I've always thought that no matter what phase you're in, whether it's muscle building, strength, lifestyle maintenance, or fat loss, the base diet should be roughly the same. It's just the quantities that change.
Yeah. So my lunch and my dinners still tend to be chicken or a source of protein with your veg, but I now allow sort of sweet potato, whereas I wouldn't have had the sweet potato previously.
Yeah.
And so I keep the basis of it the same. It doesn't mean that I just go and have a whole bottle of a whole, sort of meal of pasta and things. I try and keep it. I've tried to keep that bit consistent, but just more quantities.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. And that was actually when I struggled with rebounding after my 2014 bodybuilding show. The only thing that got me back into kind of normal routine was having structure again. Because I had that whole flexibility and thought that was I had the freedom to do whatever I liked for my food, but all that did was send me off on triggers and binges. Whereas as soon as I kept the structure, but just increased the quantity of good quality foods, that's when I was able to have a full handle of my nutrition. And even now, when I find myself losing structure in my day or with my nutrition, that's when the triggers start, or that's where I might find myself eating a little bit off plan. Whereas if I keep the structure, everything's a lot easier to do.
Yeah, I did notice. So when I came out of the dieting phase and I started, I was given all these calories, you kind of do think that, you've got free reign and you can eat sort of how you like, and isn't this great? But then you start to notice that things start to feel a little bit like you're slipping a bit. So then I've just worked out for myself, I just do better in a structured day, whether it's like dieting or with the extra calories. I still try and keep sort of a similar structure so that it's consistent, just more of, more food, and maybe more meals through the day rather than the diet, than the meals I had when I was dieting. And that's really helps. And training and everything, just keep it all the same.
Yeah, structure is so key.
Yeah, and I find if I go out, or, if I go off plan or out of sync, then I don't seem to cope very well. So I just always keep my training, my food, all the same. I mean, like last weekend I got offered to go to Madrid and I couldn't go. I chose not to go because it wasn't planned, it wasn't arranged. It was like a last minute trip, and I thought if I go to Madrid, then it's going to throw me. I'm going to have to do a 20-mile run in Madrid. I don't know Madrid well enough to plan a 20-mile route, and everyone's going to be out eating food that I'm not in my head read. Tapas and things like that, things that aren't going to fuel my run.
Yeah.
Well, so I chose not to do it just because I thought I'd rather stay focused and not go off plan. Because I think that will throw, and especially because it's so close to, it's 7 weeks on Sunday to marathon day. So I just kind of felt I didn't want to sort of just lose concentration and focus on what I'm trying to achieve, because it's not really that long. And I thought, I could go to Madrid after.
Yeah, you got your real focus on the London Marathon. And do you want to tell the listeners why the London Marathon is so important to you?
So 2.5 years ago, or just over 2 years ago, I lost my nephew through an accident at home. And he spent a few days on life support. And unfortunately, they couldn't help him. So my sister and my brother-in-law decided that they would donate his organs. So he became an organ donor. His heart went to a little girl who's now at school, and the rest of his organs went to a little boy that had never been out of hospital since he'd been born, who we've been told is doing well and at school. So when St George's Hospital said that they had places, I mean, I had to apply for the place, and then when they offered it to me, I couldn't really say no. Especially when you're into fitness and you have run a marathon before. This one just seems like it's got a lot of purpose. And so, I don't know, I just feel really sort of, I feel really committed to the charity and for my reasoning for doing it. And so I guess hence that's one of the reasons that like Madrid and things like that go out the window, because you just got to stay focused on what I'm doing and my end goal of running this. You just kind of want to make people around you proud of, I guess, because of the reasons behind doing this. It's not this, when I did Brighton, I just did that for myself, just because it was like a tick in the box, whereas I think this has more meaning to it. So I've spent more time making sure I don't get injured. I'm eating right, I'm sleeping well, because I just don't want anything to happen between now and the day.
What that really highlights to me is how strong your why is, and how strong your why behind your why is. And I think that's a real critical part of anyone who's trying to make a change in their life, in that you're aware of what your why is and can really connect to it.
Yeah.
It's because that's what keeps you focused when there's opportunities that might take you off track. What was your why before the marathon in your dieting phase, or over these years? What triggered you to want to start the journey in the first place?
I guess I just got fed up with being sort of yo-yoing constantly, constantly sort of trying to lose weight. You see other people progressing around you, and you sort of think, how are they progressing? What are they doing differently? Why am I not progressing? So then you start to look into it and think, okay, start working out what's working, what's not working, what they're doing that's working, and what you need to do to progress forward. Because it's demoralizing when you're constantly trying and then not achieving or moving forward. And then I guess when I started to move forward, and then my kids started to notice, and they were like, oh my God, Mum, look at you, you're a beast. They've watched me train in the gym, and watching, when they admire you for everything that you're doing, you're hoping that they'll see that. I guess it's like setting an example to them. That you have to, if they watch me trying and doing things, that they will try and do things in life as well. So I don't want them to think I'm just a mum that just sort of sits around doing not very much. I want to inspire them to go out and get there, go out and try things. And if they like it, great. If they don't, at least they tried in life, and set themselves goals to achieve in life and be the best at what they can do. Because they're watching me try to do, be the best at what I can do.
That's powerful. There's probably nothing more meaningful to someone than trying to create generational health as you are there.
Yeah, I mean, my kids eat what I eat. I meal prep for me, and they eat what I eat. The only thing I add to theirs is that they're allowed all the naughties. So if I make a roast dinner, they will have the roast potatoes, the Yorkshire pudding, the gravy. I will have just the chicken and the veg. But essentially, I'm sort of making the same meal. I'm not making too much difference. And they're not noticing that, she's eating, she's not eating the same as us. We're all eating the same food. But they understand that I'm just not eating Yorkshire puddings or the potatoes. So there's no, because you don't want to create food issues with the kids either. I don't want them to sort of think, I can't, Mum's on a diet and she's eating different to us. You want to sort of keep it pretty normal and sort of teach the kids about about eating healthy generally.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And I think a lot of parents are going to relate to that, because one thing we always hear is, I have to eat everything different to everyone else in the family. Or I've got to prepare my own food and I've got to sit separately or got to cook separately. Whereas you're just saying, well, we're all going to eat healthy. And you're just going to get a little bit more, but we're all going to eat on the same table, the same plate, the same, most of the plate will be the same. It's just going to be a little bit different.
Yeah. So I cook everything the same for all of us. And I just serve, they're allowed more carbohydrates, or I cook them separately for them, but we all eat the same. I don't make anything different. I've made changes. So like, say if I made, they like quinoa, and so, but they like it like a shepherd's pie. Yeah. So instead of topping it with straight potato, I'll top it with sweet potato or alternatives. And then we just all eat this, it's like everybody eats the same.
How old are your kids?
16 and 13.
Okay, so this is the best age to kind of, it's a great age to do it at, because this is where those sorts of issues tend to creep in with dieting. So if they saw you eating something different, that's when these sorts of issues may typically develop. So it's a great time to be able to really reestablish that health awareness, because you don't really get that anywhere else anymore.
No, I mean, me growing up when, health awareness was never sort of instilled in me. I was never sort of, we just ate what my parents cooked. We had biscuits, crisps, sweets, everything. Whereas now I find I can leave, we don't have a biscuit in the house because nobody ever eats it. They always go out of date or they go soft and things like that. So, and I'm not saying I don't allow my kids to have biscuits and crisps and things. What I do is what they prefer me to do is that, say if I went to Marks and Spencer's and I bought the chocolate chip cookies from the bakery, I buy one packet and then eat them, and then they don't want any for a month. They've kind of had their little fix, and then if I overbuy them, they'll say to me, "Mum, can you stop buying the biscuits?" Because they're conscious that they're, indulging too much, sort of thing. And they're aware, like with yogurts and things like that, they prefer, like I have the skyr yogurt or the Greek yogurt, so they'll have that. And they've stopped, like all the petit pois type ones, with lots of added sugars and stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just creating a little bit of awareness. So now they do check. And it's not that they won't eat and have cakes and things like that, but they're just more aware that it's not something they want to do on an everyday basis.
I would say it's probably harder for you to be able to do this with that age group because they tend to speak their mind more. Whereas with the younger kids, it's probably easy. It'd probably be easy for you to do that. Whereas,
I mean, I've been really, really, really lucky because my kids eat. They're foodies. They're absolute foodies. They'll eat everything. They'll try everything. They like sort of Thai, Chinese, Indian. They're big sushi fans. Don't take them to a sushi restaurant because they will clean you up. It's like if anyone takes them out for sushi, they honestly, it's so expensive.
Yeah.
But they like snails. They'll like paella. So I am really lucky. There's not a vegetable that they don't like. One of them does not keen on mayonnaise, but that's not a big thing. The grand scheme of things. But other than that, they like. They're absolute foodies. It's I couldn't feed them something really basic because they'd look at me and say to me, "What's this?" Because they're used to they like gourmet food.
Okay. Posh tastes.
Posh tastes, yeah. There's been many times we've been to a restaurant and the waiters looked at them order and they're like, "Are you serious that that is your child going to eat that?" Because we always and they clear the plate. They'll eat sea bass. Samphire with everything. It's really, really nice to go out. They don't. Their cheat meal would be, say, a Wagamama's.
Okay, yeah.
And it would never be sort of like a Pizza Hut or McDonald's or Pizza Express type thing. It'd always be sort of. But otherwise, they're like sticks and sushi or Bone Daddies, or they'll go to a steak restaurant. So it's really, really, really nice to take them out for food. I don't ever have to worry. But I think with that, we stopped the children's menus quite early on because we thought it was, the food on the children's menu was always sort of chicken nuggets and chips and burgers and tomato pasta. And I thought, why don't they make children's menus more varied? So we started sort of allowing them to have off the adults menu. So then they got to taste normal, like a variety of food. But then I also cooked all their meals at home. So
that's an interesting tip. The kids menu. I never thought of that. But the kids menu, when I think about it now, it's always junk food, really.
Yeah, it's if you look at everywhere you go, and you sort of think, why do they keep putting just chicken nuggets, pizza, spaghetti bolognese? It's all the same old things on all the kids' menus. So we tend to like places where they, like, say, if you go to a pub or something or a restaurant where they'll do half portions of the adults menu.
That's a great idea. And there's a lot of tips there for parents and also just people who are cooking as a family to take on board there. I think it's really, really valuable. And I think the real game changer is the whole, we're all going to eat healthy. That's a big one.
Yeah. And I never used to say to the kids, "Oh, you might not like that." I'd always let them figure it out. So if there was, when they were little, even if I knew that they wouldn't like it or wasn't sure if they'd like it, I'd never say it. I'd always let them work it out. And there's been times where they've said to me, "I don't like mushrooms." And then my reaction's just been, "Since when?" And then they just look at me and go, "Oh, okay. All right, I'll eat up." So then it kind of stopped all the because every now and again when they're at school, they'd go through phases because their friends would say, I don't like peppers, I don't like mushrooms, I don't like this. But if they came home and said it to me, I'd be like, oh, since when? I didn't know that you didn't like mushrooms. When did that become an issue? And then they just freeze in their steps and think, oh, okay, maybe I'm just sort of, I do like mushrooms, it's fine. So I just kind of didn't allow them to sort of throw anything like that at me.
Yeah. Did you ever get any kickback?
No, generally it would stop them.
Not from that, but just in general of like the healthier meals when they saw their friends eating KFC or McDonald's on a regular basis at home or maybe takeaways. Did they get any sort of kickback there or?
No, not at all. It's not like they don't have the odd zinger burger or things like that, but generally they just don't want it.
Yeah,
they're just aware. I think it's probably a little bit my fault because everything I cook is at home. So if they have fish fingers, I'd make homemade fish fingers, or I'd make homemade chicken nuggets. And so once you've done that, you can't go back. Because if you've tried, when you've tried a homemade fish finger and it's more fish and breaded nicely over a bird's eye thing, it's a game changer. So, once you get into routine of doing it, it's not that difficult. It's just understanding that you just got to be organised and prep your meals like that.
Yeah. Do you guys batch cook or do you cook every day?
When I was on my diet phase, I kind of batch cooked a little bit for me, just because it became easier, especially my lunches. And it was pretty, sort of pretty standard, like, because it was sort of egg whites, chicken and chicken with veg. On my non-diet phase, I'm a little bit more flexible. But again, it tends to be around sort of chicken or fish and vegetables. Yeah.
That makes sense. What were some of your biggest challenges during your dieting phase that you faced?
The lack of food.
Outside of that, yeah.
Outside of that, okay. Okay, so when I started the dieting phase, I was doing a half marathon, and I remember saying to Nathan, I'm doing a half marathon at the weekend or such week, and he just kind of said, okay. And I thought he'd allow me some carbs, and he didn't say anything. And I thought, okay, maybe I'm not meant to have carbs. Okay, so I ran. I had no carbs for about 7 weeks, and then I ran that with no carbs.
Blimey.
Yeah, and for the first 8 miles, I was ahead of the 1 minute 50 pacer, and then I died. And then I finished it in 2 hours 10.
That's still pretty quick.
But it was a real learning experience because it showed me what I could do. What I could do, having no carbs for 7 weeks prior to it, and then still managing to finish in 2 hours 10. So I guess, it was a learning experience, and it was kind of like I didn't say anything to him because I thought, oh, he hasn't said anything, so maybe I'm just supposed to suck it up and stop complaining and just get on with it because everybody else would be in the same boat. So
that throws my excuse of hitting the wall at 8 miles out the window. Then,
yeah. But I think that was quite tough because I thought to myself, oh, but I sometimes I think, okay, well, I guess you don't want to sit there complaining. You just want to get on with it and think, okay, well, if I was supposed to be allowed carbs, then he would have said I can have some carbs. But he didn't say anything, so I thought I'm not asking either. Just get on with it, just see what happens. Yeah.
Fair enough. How was that? Have you always got like a strong support network within your family and friends supporting you in your transformation? Or has that been a challenge?
No, that's been a challenge in the sense that I've got them all on board now and they actually understand it. But initially when I was starting, they couldn't understand why I wouldn't just eat that one little piece of this or, whatever that was made. You exercise a lot, so you can eat it. So friends would never understand that you couldn't just eat something at the weekend or have an odd drink here or there. There was a few times where, you know, people think, oh, you're just getting obsessive. This is ridiculous. You know, you're looking, you know, why do you want to lose so much weight? Or, you know, you're going to get too skinny. And then I'd often get told that, like they would justify their not eating healthy by saying that they eat healthy. And then you'd be sitting there thinking, oh my God, you have no idea how many calories are in that meal that you're eating. It's not healthy at all. But it's because they don't know how to unpick it all. They don't understand how to sort of analyze what they're eating or the food, or they don't have enough knowledge.
And how did you get over the stigmas placed on you, or the challenges that you were facing? What was I know you said they're now on board now. What was it that you did to get them on board?
I think I just had to keep sticking at it. So I stuck at my routine and didn't try to not listen to what they were saying. And then it's when they started seeing progress, when they started seeing how I've changed, and a few of them started, like, I mean, for instance, my kids now go for a run, and now that they've run, they can see how difficult it is. And my husband and my eldest, they have PT in the gym now, and so now they're actually exercising, and they see how difficult it is. It's not something that just comes naturally or easy. They now appreciate what I do. So when they see me do walking lunges with the 20 kilo, they've actually gone and tried it, and they can't do it. And it's kind of sort of, they kind of think, oh, wow, okay, all right. They actually understand it now, that I've worked hard to get there. It's not something that's just kind of happens and is easy. Yeah.
It's that whole saying, like, first they'll laugh at you, and then they'll look at you, and then they'll ask you how, or something like that.
Yeah. So now, I mean, over Christmas, they couldn't understand how I managed to eat what I did eat over Christmas and come out looking not too bad at all. Whereas they're all complaining about how they've all put on weight, and oh my gosh, they've got up 2 dress sizes or 2, and they can't understand how they've done it, and how I haven't done it. And so now they can sort of understand it's hard work.
Yeah, and it's now a lifestyle for you, which is why you can come out of Christmas feeling pretty much the same as you did going into Christmas. And not many people can do that.
Yeah, so I think what they have to understand is it's a complete lifestyle change. It's never going back to being allowed to eat, whatever you fancy and however you fancy it. Yes, I do have treats, and you do have, it's not like I'm not allowed not to eat anything, but you just make choices. I mean, even now, if I wanted to eat a donut, I'll eat a donut, but it has to be a bloody good donut. I won't just go to the supermarket and eat a donut. I will go to Crosstown. I'll go to, to a really nice place and eat that donut and know that it was worth all the calories because I've really enjoyed it. I won't eat something and then just feel, I feel crap about eating it. So I guess I have turned snobby. I make choices and think, well, if I'm going to have a donut, it's going to be a really good donut. If I'm going to have a burger, it's going to be a bloody good burger, or a burger that really hits the spot, as opposed to something and then feel, oh God, I shouldn't have eaten that.
Yeah, it's a good way.
Because there's nothing worse of eating something and then thinking I didn't actually enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, and also what you're doing there is you're also making a conscious decision to eat that food rather than just eating it because it's there, or eating it for the sake of it, or just wanting to treat yourself to anything that's outside of your plan. Whereas you're saying, okay, I'm going to go and have a nice burger or a nice donut, and you go out your way to do it, and you make it an occasion, and you make it a thing, mindlessly doing it.
Yeah, and then you just feel satisfied once you've had it. You sort of think, okay, that was really nice. I really enjoyed it. I didn't feel like, oh damn it, I shouldn't have eaten that. And then it just kind of you don't feel the need to go and binge afterwards.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
You've had your little fix. It's like, right, okay, I really enjoyed that. That was really nice. Draw a line underneath it. Carry on and move forward. And it stops the binge. I found it stopped the binging of eating just opening the fridge and eating mindless rubbish out the fridge.
And that's why keeping it out of the house is so important. You said you don't have the biscuits in, and I think that's the best thing to do. So then if you want a biscuit and you want a really good biscuit, you go out and find a really good biscuit and eat that.
Yeah.
Rather than just saying, I'm having a biscuit.
Yeah. We don't. Occasionally my husband will bring in chocolate buttons and I'll always moan. I think, like, who put those in the fridge? Why'd you put those in the fridge? Because, like, if you don't have it, if it's out of sight, out of mind, you don't eat it.
Yeah.
You have to actually go out.
And you don't test your willpower.
No, it's just, much. I just find it easier not having. I guess it's just lifestyle. I mean, I used to have 3 sugars in my tea.
Yeah.
And over the years, you just sort of cut it out. And before, I used to have a sugar pot in case somebody came. And now I don't even have a sugar pot. I have sugar in the house that the kids might use to bake a cake, but that's in the cupboard. So I have, like, the tea, the coffee, and, but I don't have a separate sugar pot anymore because nobody in the house has it. And if the odd person that does come around, I can go and get it.
I feel like you've got some amazing, like, real life hacks to live this lifestyle. What 3 tips would you give to someone who's trying to make this into a lifestyle rather than just a quick fix?
Don't think that you could it takes time to make the changes. Like, don't think that, you can go from eating the way you are to eating healthy overnight. You just have to sort of put little things in place and then just be consistent. So, I found when I cut the sugar out of my tea, I did it gradually, so that now if there's sugar in my tea, it makes my tongue go funny because it's just so sweet. I just you can't. It tastes horrible. It's not nice at all. So I would say just do it gradually, slowly, and make it a lifestyle change rather than just a quick sort of, right, change the way you taste things and the foods that you enjoy, and make the healthier options the things that you enjoy, as opposed to the unhealthy things.
That's number 1. So that's a good one. Quick, go slow, and don't chase perfection.
Be consistent. Yeah. Be consistent, I think. Everyone has their highs and lows, and you'll have good days and bad days of what, but you just have to sort of think about your end goal, about how, whether it's sort of losing weight, just being healthier, whether it's just sort of trying to improve your health stats. And when you start seeing progress, then that's great motivation. But you have to be consistent with it.
Just on that note, I know you've had some really good improvements in your health stats with regards to blood pressure, if I'm correct.
Yes. I mean, I had when I had the kids, I had preeclampsia with both kids, and they said that if you have it with the first child, then you're less likely to have it with the second. But I had it with both, and then I had eclampsia as well. So I ended up, they were both born prematurely, and they were both C-sections. And then I had blood pressure after that for ages and ages and ages. And I didn't want to be on tablets, because I thought, I don't want to be on tablets for the rest of my life, because it's something that sticks. And then just being Asian, my dad has blood pressure. My dad's diabetic. High cholesterol, and I thought, you see their lifestyle, and I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be sort of not able to do things, or just have illnesses, and I don't want my kids to have it. So hence, it's one of the biggest things that you want to sort of change how they grow up and be healthy, be active and healthy. I see elderly people at the gym, sort of like in their 70s, doing a class, and I think to myself, wow, look at you. It's just inspiration right there. And I think I want to be that person. I don't want to be sort of hobbling around ill, not being able to exercise because you've got an ailment. And I don't want my kids to do that. So the only way I can sort of help them is lead by example.
And you off your meds now?
Yeah, so I've managed to wean. Yeah, I managed to wean myself off them. So it's been good.
That's amazing. And let's finish off with one more tip.
One more tip. Oh gosh, that's hard.
You're giving us so many in this whole episode, so you're probably throwing to one more.
Keep positive. I think when try and just keep focused and positive on your end goal, because I think when you're positive, things they go really well, and you progress. And if you rather than feel negative and feel down about it, always try and pick yourself up, or get someone to shout out to someone that will help pick you up, like your coach or friends in the group or something, and try not to have a down moment, and just focus on what you're trying to achieve and how great you will feel once you get there.
I know you've said you've really enjoyed the positivity in the RNT group and how it's lifted you up on some days. So I think the power of support is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like for instance, sometimes you wake up and you feel a little bit sort of like, feel down, or you don't want to do it or whatever. I mean, when Lena posted the picture of herself, I was like, man, she looks so good. Oh wow, look at her. And you just sort of think, nope, keep going. That's an inspiration right there. She's inspired me to sort of keep going. And it's natural. Everybody has days where they just don't feel completely on it or whatever. And it's really nice when you see someone else progressing. You think, okay, well, that's great. That's just inspired me to sort of carry on and keep up with, of what your journey of where you're trying to get to.
Amazing. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at the upcoming meetup.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's really nice. I just feel like you've made friends, and everybody in the same mindset as you, all trying to achieve different things, but in the same way. And it's really nice, it's almost like, oh wow, we've got a whole new friend group, like a friendship group and it's funny because it's a different friendship groups from, say, a few of my other. I have other mum friends that aren't into fitness, and I just have to separate it because I find I can't talk to them so much about it, because I find that because they're not doing something or whatever, they try and put you down. So it's nice to have everyone in the same,
Amazing.
Yeah.
Where can people find you if you want to plug yourself, or more importantly, where can people donate money to help your charitable cause?
So I have it's Virgin Money Giving page, and if they just search up Minal Patel, there is 2 Minal Patels on there, so just make sure you click the right one, because I did have a friend donate to the wrong one. And that's on my Facebook group. It is on my Instagram as well.
Okay, great. And they can find you on Instagram on?
Minal Patel.
Petal. Okay. Well, we'll put the links in the show notes for the donation as well. In case.
Okay. Thank you so much.
They can have a direct link. So, just send me that link forward, and I can put it in the show notes for you.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you so much.
Is there any final words you'd like to say?
No, thank you. I'd love to say thank you to everybody on RNT. Big shout out, thank you to my coach Nathan. He's absolutely amazing. Always there for whenever I need to ask anything or check anything. And it's just so nice. I just feel like I've got a whole new friendship circle, or a group of people that sort of and they're all absolutely truly amazing, and really love hearing about what they're up to, and I really find it inspirational.
Oh, that means a lot. Thank you so much. And the time that Nathan should have been here, he's actually stuck in a 24-hour internet blackout in Bali. As he
Yeah. Yeah.
So he couldn't make the call today, which is a shame. But yeah, it'd be great to see you on the 17th. And we're gonna release this before the meetup.
Oh.
It'll be coming out on the week of the meetup, and we're also going to release your transformation then. So we'll put it all out at once for you.
Brilliant, thank you.
Great. So if you enjoyed today's episode with Minal, and you can see other people who feel the value from what she said and the advice she's given, which has been absolutely amazing, please share it with your family and friends. More information, please visit www.rntfitness.co.uk, and to follow us on social media, follow us on Instagram at @RNT_fitness. Thanks for listening.